Scarlett English Podcast.
Listen, learn, and speak with confidence.
Welcome to Scarlett English Podcast.
Hey, English learners, welcome back. I'm Scarlett.
And I'm Luke, and you're listening to the Scarlett English Podcast, your cozy little place to learn real, everyday English through natural conversations.
Luke, can I ask you something? And I want you to actually think before you answer.
Okay, that sounds serious. Go ahead.
I know, but stay with me, because by the end of this episode, you might have a completely different answer than the one you're thinking of right now.
And if you've ever wondered the same thing quietly at 2 a.m, scrolling through your phone, feeling a little cynical about love, hit subscribe right now because this episode might genuinely change how you see it.
Welcome back, English learners. Today isn't a grammar lesson in the usual sense. Today, we're talking about something deeply human, love, whether it's real, whether it lasts, and how to talk about it honestly in English without hiding behind cliches.
Because here's the problem so many people carry quietly. We grow up watching movies, reading stories, hearing songs, all promising this perfect, effortless love, and then real life happens.
Heartbreak happens, disappointment happens, people change or leave or simply stop trying. And slowly, without even noticing, we start protecting ourselves by believing love isn't real anymore, or at least not for us.
I think almost everyone has had that moment, that quiet thought, maybe it's just not going to happen for me. And it's a heavy thought to carry.
It really is. So today, we're going to sit with that question honestly, share a real story, and along the way, learn the exact English phrases you need to talk about love, loss, and hope in a way that actually sounds natural.
This works for A2 and B1 learners, and B2 listeners, this vocabulary will help you have deeper, more meaningful conversations, the kind that actually connect you to people.
Let me tell you about someone. I'll call her Mira because this isn't really about one person. It's about a feeling so many of us share.
Okay, I'm ready.
Mira was 26 when her 5-year relationship ended. Not dramatically, not with shouting or betrayal, just quietly, over months, until one day they both admitted they'd grown apart.
That's almost harder, isn't it? No villain to blame, just two people who slowly stopped being right for each other.
Exactly. And after that, Mira did what a lot of us do. She threw herself into work, told her friends she was totally fine, and quietly decided that maybe love just wasn't going to be part of her story anymore.
I think a lot of listeners right now know exactly that feeling.
They probably do. Our first phrase today is exactly this feeling, guarded.
Guarded. Guarded.
This means emotionally protective, careful not to let someone get too close, usually because of past pain.
Maybe you've been hurt before, and now you're careful with new people. You could say, I've become really guarded since my last relationship.
Or maybe you're describing someone else. Then you'd say, he seems guarded, like he's scared to let anyone in.
That word explains so much about modern dating, honestly. Everyone's a little guarded now.
They are. For 2 years, Mira stayed exactly like that, guarded, busy, convincing herself she was totally fine alone. She even deleted every dating app on her phone, telling herself it was because she was too busy for that right now.
But it wasn't really about being busy, was it?
No, it rarely is. Underneath the busyness was fear, plain and simple. The fear of investing in someone again, only to end up back where she started, disappointed, exhausted, alone.
Curious, what changed?
So, her grandmother got sick, and during one of those long hospital visits, her grandmother, 83 years old, looked at her and said something Mira never forgot.
What did she say?
She said, I buried my grandfather 11 years ago, and I still love him every single day. That kind of love doesn't disappear because it's rare. It's rare because most people give up before they find it.
Wow, that's actually hit me a little.
It hit Mira too. She said it was the first time in 2 years she actually cried about something other than anger. It was grief, but also, somehow, hope.
That's such a powerful distinction. Grief and hope existing in the same moment.
It really is. Our next phrase is exactly this experience, a wake-up call.
A wake-up call. A wake-up call.
This means a moment or event that suddenly makes you realize something important, often changing your perspective.
Maybe an experience shifted how you see things. You could say, that conversation was a real wake-up call for me.
Or maybe you're describing someone else's realization. Then you'd say, losing his job was a wake-up call to change his priorities.
So that conversation with her grandmother, that was Mira's wake-up call.
Exactly. And slowly, she started doing something small but brave. She stopped protecting herself quite so tightly. She said yes to a coffee with a coworker she'd been avoiding out of fear.
And how did that go?
Not perfectly at first. It was awkward. She said later she felt like she'd forgotten how to be vulnerable, like the muscle had gone weak from disuse.
That's such a real feeling. Vulnerability actually is a skill, and it does get rusty.
It really does. Our next phrase is exactly this. Let your guard down.
Let your guard down. Let your guard down.
This means to stop protecting yourself emotionally, to allow yourself to be open and vulnerable with someone.
Maybe you're finally opening up to someone new. You could say, it took months, but I finally let my guard down with him.
Or maybe you're encouraging a friend. Then you'd say, you have to let your guard down sometimes, or nobody can really know you.
That takes real courage, though, doesn't it? Choosing to be open again after being hurt.
It takes enormous courage. And here's the honest part of Mira's story. That coworker, his name was Daniel, he wasn't perfect. Their relationship wasn't a fairy tale. There were arguments, miscommunications, moments of doubt.
So what made it different this time?
She said the difference wasn't that everything felt easy. It was that even during hard moments, they both kept choosing to stay, to communicate, to try again the next morning.
That's such an important redefinition of true love. Not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of commitment through difficulty.
Exactly. Our next phrase captures that. Show up for someone.
Show up for someone. Show up for someone.
This means to consistently be present, supportive, and reliable for someone, especially during hard times.
Maybe someone has been reliably supportive for you. You could say, he really shows up for me, even on hard days.
Or maybe you're describing your own commitment. Then you'd say, I promised myself I'd show up for this relationship, even when it's hard.
That phrase feels like the real definition of love, honestly. Not fireworks, just showing up.
I think so too. There was one night, about a year into their relationship, when Mira almost ran. She told me about it later. Daniel had said something careless, nothing terrible, just thoughtless, and every old fear came rushing back at once.
What did she do?
She almost left, packed a small bag in her head mentally before she even realized what she was doing. But instead, she made herself stay in the room and say, out loud, I'm scared right now, and I need you to understand why.
That's incredibly brave, actually. Saying the fear instead of just acting on it.
It is, and that's exactly our next phrase, work through it.
Work through it. Work through it.
This means to face and resolve a difficult situation together instead of avoiding or running from it.
Maybe a couple faced a hard conversation honestly. You could say, we had a rough patch, but we worked through it together.
Or maybe you're describing personal growth. Then you'd say, I'm learning to work through my fears instead of running from them.
Reflectively, that night could have ended everything, but instead it became a turning point.
It really did. Daniel listened. He didn't get defensive. He simply said, I'm not going anywhere, even when you're scared. And something in Mira finally, quietly began to believe him.
Warm smiling. That's such a beautiful moment, honestly.
Emotional. 3 years later, Mira married Daniel in a small backyard wedding, and her grandmother, still alive at the time, sat in the front row.
Warm smiling. That's such a beautiful full circle moment.
It really is. And here's what Mira said afterward, something that stuck with me deeply. She said, "True love wasn't waiting for me somewhere out there. It required me to become someone capable of receiving it, guard down, fully present, willing to try again."
Quiet. That's such a profound way to look at it. Not love is luck, but love is capacity.
Exactly. So does true love still exist? I think Mira's story suggests something important. It exists, but maybe not in the effortless way movies promised us.
Thoughtful. It exists in the version where two guarded, imperfect people decide again and again to show up for each other anyway.
Beautifully said. Let's put today's phrases into a short, honest conversation. First, just listen.
Do you think true love still exists?
Honestly, I used to be really guarded about that question. I didn't want to hope in case I'd got hurt again.
What changed your mind?
A conversation with someone I love had a wake-up call in it. It made me realize I was protecting myself right out of ever finding real connection.
That takes courage to let your guard down after being hurt.
It did, but I decided I'd rather try and risk pain than stay closed off and guarantee loneliness.
That's such a brave way to think about it.
And honestly, the relationship isn't perfect. We've had to work through some genuinely hard moments. But he shows up for me every single day, even during those hard moments. That's what convinced me love is real.
I think that's the truest definition I've ever heard.
Let's do it again. This time, pause and repeat each line out loud.
Do you think true love still exists? Pause. Your turn.
Honestly, I used to be really guarded about that question. I didn't want to hope in case I'd got hurt again. Pause. Your turn.
What changed your mind? Pause. Your turn.
A conversation with someone I love had a wake-up call in it. It made me realize I was protecting myself right out of ever finding real connection.
That takes courage to let your guard down after being hurt.
It did, but I decided I'd rather try and risk pain than stay closed off and guarantee loneliness.
That's such a brave way to think about it.
And honestly, the relationship isn't perfect. We've had to work through some genuinely hard moments. But he shows up for me every single day, even during those hard moments. That's what convinced me love is real.
I think that's the truest definition I've ever heard.
Well done. You just practiced a real, emotional, honest conversation about one of the deepest topics there is.
Now, say it better. First sentence. I don't believe in love anymore. Heavy, and honestly, it closes a door before it's even fully explored.
A gentle sentence. I've become guarded about love, but I'm working on staying open.
Next, nobody stays anymore. Upgrade it. It's rare to find someone who truly shows up, but it's not impossible.
One more. I'm scared to try again. Instead, I'm scared, but I'd rather let my guard down than never know.
And a final one. We fought, so it must be over. Instead, we had a hard moment, but we worked through it together.
Sincere. Notice how every upgraded sentence holds both honesty and hope at the same time. That's real emotional English, not just polite English. I think that's the heart of today's episode. Love, real love, was never about finding someone perfect. It's about two people choosing courage over protection again and again.
Firm, warm. And whatever your own story looks like right now, whether you're guarded, healing, hopeful, or somewhere in between, that story isn't finished yet.
Quick review. Guarded, a wake-up call, let your guard down, show up for someone, and work through it.
5 phrases, and hopefully a story that reminded you love, real love, is still very much alive, even if it looks different than the movies promised.
Here's your reflection before we go. Not a challenge this time, just a question. Where in your life are you being guarded right now? And is it protecting you or quietly keeping something good away?
You don't need an answer today. Just sit with the question.
Comment below if you'd like whether you believe true love still exists and why. We read every single comment, and honestly, on this topic, we'd love to hear your story too.
And if this episode moved you even a little, subscribe, because every week we're having conversations exactly like this one, real, human, and in English you can actually use in your own life.
Because language was never just about grammar. It's about finally having the words to talk about the things that matter most.
This is Scarlett.
And this is Luke. And wherever you are on your own journey with love, we hope you keep your guard just a little more open. We'll see you in the next episode.